All right, family. Black Power is the true power with General Sarah Soon said he kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. I'm excited and delighted to be accepting members to the Sarah Soon Seti YouTube page, a dynamic page. Y'all already know what it is. Black Power, Black Frequency. If you're feeling that frequency and energy, you should most definitely join. Link right down in the video description is in the chat. Click it, you get a video introduction rundown on the member, what they entail. You see one you like, you should most definitely join. Even if you don't, I appreciate your presence here at the Sarah Soon Seti YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. That's right, family. Ring the alarm. KingSeti.com online marketplace. Official General Sarah Soon Seti DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, African and Kemetic jewelry, holistic tonics and remedies, home decor accessories for every room in the house. I got something for your family. Check it out. Catalog fat. Got something I know you're going to like and love. Get you some. Get a discount. Shop and save. Save and shop. That's right, family. Ring the alarm. King Seti. We talking about what I'm talking about. Pull the fire alarm. GeneralSeti.com. Seti University. Over 1,500 videos. 40 different subjects, right? All the subjects that you know and love from the general. We got them all. Plus, we got the grandmaster teachers, hand-picked documentaries and lectures. There's not another website on the planet that can compete or compare. I don't know why you ain't already over there. It makes no sense. Get over there, get that work, get that advanced knowledge, and elevate, family, for real. And everybody know General Seti popping on Patreon, dropping nuclear bombs on Patreon. That's right. We're going live. I got to put this work in for your family. And then we're going to take it all the way up on Patreon. We're going to pull out all the stops, family, on Patreon tonight. I want you over there. Become a patron. You already got 500 exclusive live streams on Patreon, only to be seen on Patreon. And so, of course, I know you want to dig your hand down in that treasure chest and get that work. Why wouldn't you? And plus, you get a chance to see the general live, and everybody knows Seti Live is lit. Get over to my Patreon today. Don't you dare hesitate. And I'm on Rumble. I'm getting ready to rumble on Rumble. I'm going to disrupt class on Rumble. That's right. I'm coming to disrupt class. You want to be a part of that? It's going to be extraordinary, family, to start that legacy over there. Wake them up, shake the house, flip the tables in the temple. Here I come, family. So the Black Power scholar that won't stumble or fumble, ready to rumble on Rumble. So become a subscriber on my Rumble page today. All the family out there, donate to the general. I appreciate the fact you appreciate me. Any of the family out there would like to donate to this hard-working general, keeping his knowledge out here in a profound and advanced way. The link right down in the video description. Click it, donate. I thank you ahead of time. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels. King Seti, General Seti, Sarah Soon Seti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends. And comment, comment, comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because I will ban your ass. Now we talking about how the Africans saved the Hebrew Israelites from extinction. You see, we're gonna talk about that. You know, we just talked about number one, how Pharaoh saved the raggedy Hebrew Israelites out there in the desert, can't even feed themselves. Wandering through the goddamn desert with them damn goats and camels. Ain't even got a blade of grass out there to feed them. And here it is. Joseph had to beg Pharaoh to let the Israelites come in. And and not only he gave them provisions. You feel me? Gave them all type of food. Gave them wagons. Go get them, Joseph. Bring them on in. Give them my best land. You see? Yeah, they ain't got to bring nothing. We got them. We going to give them clothes. We going to give them whatever they need. You see, and even gave them jobs. Say, if y'all take care of the cattle, Bring the best that you got, and I'm gonna put y'all in charge over my cattle. Didn't say they was masons, because they Pharaoh asked him, say, what's your occupation? I'm gonna give y'all some jobs. He said, they say, Pharaoh, we ain't nothing but goat herders. He said, that's all right. Well, I'm gonna put you in charge of the goat. You didn't hear none of the Hebrews say that they was brick masons. They ain't never built no goddamn pyramids in Egypt. We gotta stop the lie. But Pharaoh, in his kind heart, didn't say God made him. It didn't say God came into his heart and made him. Pharaoh did this of his own good will. And so here it is. They don't talk about that Pharaoh. They always talk about the Pharaoh that supposedly put them in bondage. And I want to be clear that, and we're going to talk about that on Patreon, that the so-called Hebrew Israelites. Now, for all y'all out there, we know that these is fairy tales. But behind the fairy tale is the truth. You see, as a people, why they so jealous of us. You see, and why they so jealous and they lie on us so much. If you're going to tell any of them Hebrew Israelite niggas, if they're going to tell the story, tell the whole fucking story. Don't tell half the story. And not even half. You're only telling a tenth of the story, and you stretching it all across the African history. You understand? To make it seem as if we always fed motherfuckers. We feeding motherfuckers today. You see what I'm saying? In our own demise, you see, African supposed to been shut the door on a whole lot of motherfuckers today that they ain't closed the door on. You see all them goddamn Europeans in there over there feeding and eating off of Africa, while we over there starving and shit, and this, that, and the third, feeding their ass today. You see? See, the thing is, they ain't never had a land. That's the Holy Land. How in the fuck, see, this don't make no sense, and I want to bring this up. This shit don't make no sense. Now, when we talk about Joseph, right, we hear that Canaan was in famine. You see, they in famine. They away from a lot of that water. You see, you got goddamn 4,000 miles of water in Africa. Ain't nothing but rivers in Africa. So even if it get tight in Egypt, they can go up the river. It ain't like they can go up the river. They can go up the river. It ain't dried out. It's just certain areas down in the lowlands where the water might not reach down there. Yeah, it might be tight, but that means take your ass up the river. You understand where is water, because it is water. The Nile River ain't dried up. You see, it's just that, it's not a heavy flood this year, and it might not be enough water that get down in the lowlands, down there in Lower Egypt. That's where they talking about. That's the first place that's going to dry up, the lowlands. But when you go up the river, it's much water for you up there. You see? And so Canaan, which is an extension of the Nile Valley today, which they call Israel, in which the so-called Hebrew Israelites renamed Israel. Okay. Now, when we read in the Bible, Canaan stayed in famine. That motherfucker was in famine in the Bible more than once. It's 2-3 times that it was in famine, and they begged the Egyptians to feed them. And if they had not fed them, they had to be dead. Now, how is it that they say on one end that Israel is the land flowing in milk and honey, and then on the other end, the motherfucker is in famine? That shit don't make no sense to me. You see? And so, yeah, they don't talk about that. You see, is it a land of milk and honey? So they say, or is it a land that is easily to go into famine because, them rivers down there ain't strong enough. You feel me? When that shit get hot and it be some bad years, y'all motherfuckers feel it. Y'all had to bring y'all ass into Egypt. And that's why the Canaanites were the brothers of the Ethiopians and Egyptians. And when it got tight, they know they could lean on their brothers and sisters in Africa. They knew that they could lean on them. You see? And so this in the good heart of Pharaoh, he fed their ass. Now, if he knew, and like I said, they didn't come into Africa. It ain't like the Egyptians went out there and drugged their ass into Egypt. They could have stayed their motherfucking ass out there and died. I wouldn't have gave a goddamn. Tell them what I said. The Pharaoh didn't go out there and drag them into Egypt. He could have left motherfuckers. He wasn't even thinking about them motherfuckers. He could have left them motherfuckers out there to die. You understand? Which he should have. If they was going to treat Egypt the way that he should have left their ass out there to starve. Okay? That's what he should have did. But being a good-hearted African, seeing what he thought, and see, yes, we do have to understand that everybody, all skin folk ain't kin folk. We have to understand that all skin folk ain't kin folk, and being, that Egypt is a land of plenty. Not in the same way that we fed their ass, we fed them intellectually and spiritually too. We fed them intellectually and spiritually just the same. When they ass was out there starving and didn't have religion, we gave them that. We showed them what religion is. We showed them intellect, but they didn't use none. It's hard to teach a goddamn goat herder, how to build. So I never heard, even when you talk about Solomon's temple, the Phoenicians built that. You see what I'm saying? When you talk about Hiram and you talk about the story of Solomon's temple, the great temple in Israel, it was the Phoenicians that he contracted out to build that temple. You see? So let's talk about that. And so I don't know one temple or one city that they built from the ground up. They never built a city from the ground up. They went into Canaan and they conquered Canaan and they laid in their beds, they laid in their houses and their buildings. They many times they didn't even rename because they couldn't rename them because they didn't even have a fucking language to rename anything with. Let's talk about that. You see, when you go into the Bible, it clearly states that there is no Hebrew language, that the language is referred to in Isaiah as the language of Canaan. If I can get it, I believe that's Isaiah. Y'all want the truth, right? Y'all want the truth? See, I'm gonna run up in your temple tonight. I'm gonna run up in your temple tonight. You feel me? That's what I'm good for. Yeah, I'm gonna turn some goddamn tables over in the temple tonight. Yeah. I'm gonna turn some goddamn tables over in the temple tonight. Wait a minute. Wait, let me see if I can find. Hold on, family. And it says, wait a minute. I can't find it. That's all right. I thought it was in Isaiah. It very well, but I can't find it right now. Where it talks about the language of Canaan. One of y'all out there, if y'all just if you can Google it, just Google the language of Canaan, and it'll run that down. You see, it'll run that down and drop it in there. But anyway, okay, and so they didn't even have a goddamn language, and so the names of Jerusalem is Jebus. You see, who is the son of Canaan? Who is the grandson of Ham? Who is the nephew of Egypt? Who is the nephew of Ethiopia? You see? And so, yeah, they didn't even rename Jerusalem. The most holy city in all the Israel was named after a Canaanite, not a Hebrew, not an Israelite, No, sir. It was named after a Canaan, an African Canaanite. You see? And so we want to be clear about that. And so just to address that, you see, just to address that, just like we fed them with food and gave them land, we gave them spirituality, we gave them intellect. You see, we gave them, skills in nationhood, which they didn't learn because Israel only lasted for a couple hundred years and it fell on its face. So we discuss Joseph, and we also discuss uh, Moses being saved by Pharaoh's daughter, and she had compassion on Moses, and she should not have had that. The way that these niggas out here talk about the Egyptians. No, 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 no. She should not have had compassion on Moses. No, she shouldn't. She should have floated when they seen that damn basket with a Hebrew a child in it. She should have listened to her father, and she should have floated that motherfucker over there to the alligators. You see what I'm saying? That's what she should have did. She should not have, for disrespected her father and disobeyed his commandment. Shame on you, sister. You should not have done that. And then we wouldn't have to have no Bibles. You see, she could have been they goddamn Hitler if she wanted to. That African princess could have been they goddamn Hitler. You understand what I'm saying? And just gone and floated that goddamn basket. But in her good heart, she saved that boy out the water. It didn't say God came into her heart. No, it didn't. It was of her own good heart that she saved that boy and raised him and gave him an education. And literally, she the one that, she should be looked at as the greatest saint. She should be made a saint in Judaism. You see what I'm saying? Because Moses got an education in Egypt, got all type of science but he was the only one that got it, and it must have died with him because they damn sure didn't use no science or none of that. They didn't use none of that. So he might have been the only one that got it, but at least he wrote him a book. You know what I'm saying? Now, we know it's allegory, so don't go too far now. You see? So at least he got an education in Africa, and so that he can write some books and shit for their ass. Other than that, they wouldn't even have that. So she saved them. She saved the Judaic religion. She saved it. God damn it, Pharaoh saved it first. The Pharaoh that brought Jacob, Israel, into, because he should have left their ass out there. And here it is, 2 times. I'm talking about critical. You understand what I'm saying? If both of them had not done what they did, it wouldn't be no Bible. It wouldn't be nobody in the book, because it would have died. If Moses was the first author, it wouldn't have been no book. And if the Pharaoh hadn't saved Jacob, it wouldn't be no Israelites, wouldn't be no shit. So them two, the first Pharaoh and the daughter of Pharaoh, they should be saints. They should be made saints and say they at least the goddamn the so-called Israelis over in Germany. They say some motherfuckers was helping them out of there. You see what I'm saying? They talk about it was some Germans was helping their ass up out of there. Helping them to get, to some kind of freedom. At least they call a couple names out. These motherfuckers don't call no names out. They don't get no name. Now, another thing that I want to talk about, that Moses, he got refuge twice from an African, because Jethro, when he murdered Pharaoh's soldier and he fled into Midian, which is Cushite, and we'll black that up. The Midianites are Cushites. And it says in the Bible. You see, it says it in the Bible. Now, I think I got it in here somewhere. Where I got it, hopefully I got it. That's right here. I believe it's pronounced Habakkuk. Habakkuk. Okay, H-A-B, the book of Habakkuk. Okay, and so that's the book right after Nahum. Now I ain't no Israelite, so I don't speak that shit that way. And you say Habakkuk. Okay, Habakkuk. Okay, and you go down to chapter 3, and it says, I saw the tents of Cushan in affliction, and the curtains of the land of Midian did tremble. I'm going to say it again. I saw the tents of Cushan, Cush, Ethiopia, in affliction, and the curtains of the land of Midian did tremble. So the Midianites were Cushites. That's where Moses fled. And that's where he married his wife, Zipporah, who was a Midianite. But in I believe it was Numbers, his sister Miriam and his brother Aaron, they spoke ill of Zipporah, and God cursed Miriam, cursed her ass, and she got leprosy. You understand what I'm saying? So that right there. So he fled Egypt and went into a Cushite nation. And because Moses looked out for his daughters, they were at a well, and there was some old, some vagabonds that were messing with them, and Moses ran them off. And so, Jethro, who was a priest, and they don't talk about that. Jethro was one of the first priests to be mentioned of as a priest in the Bible. Jethro, his father-in-law. And so, yes, he was the second priest to be mentioned in the Bible as a priest. And so he gave him refuge and also taught him nationalism and things of that nature. And Moses always looked to him for assistance and advice. And so again, when he was fleeing Egypt, he fled in, and Jethro gave him his daughter, gave him a job. You see what I'm saying? He tended his flocks. You see what I'm saying? And he looked out for Moses. Again, an African nation. You see? An African nation. Now, a lot of people, let me state something, and I'm going to bring this up in another video. See, the thing is what peoples is not telling y'all. We breaking this book down. Whether it's real or not, we breaking it down. So when you crack heads and you talking to these motherfuckers, it's over 1 billion and some people that look to this book. So don't think that just because you say it's not real, that you don't need to master this book. Because you need to master this book. So when you run into that billion motherfuckers, you got something to say. Just saying, you crack their head with the truth. Nah, and I'm going to bring this up in another video, which they not telling y'all. Okay? And you bring this up. Nah, there were African Hebrews. Okay? There were Cushite Hebrews. There were Egyptian Hebrews. What am I saying so that you can understand this? Abraham, Midian, was a son of Abraham. Okay? The Hebrew. Did y'all hear me? If you go in the book Genesis, Abraham is a Hebrew. Okay? I want y'all to understand that. So don't let these motherfuckers, even in the book, you're not a Gentile. Okay? You never was a Gentile. That's them Europeans, a Gentile. You're not a Gentile. in the book. Story or not, you want to know that. Where does it say he's a Hebrew? I got it in here somewhere. It's over here. Right here. Genesis 14. Genesis 14. And verse 13. And it says, and there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite. Okay, so Abraham was a Hebrew. We understand that. So Ishmael, whose mother Hagar was an Egyptian. You see, they don't talk about that. She was an Egyptian. So, and the thing, which is a Cushite. She was a Cushite Egyptian, and she married Ishmael to an Egyptian wife. So Ishmael's bloodline was 75% African. He was African. He was 75% African. He was African. You see, he even married a Hamitic woman. So Ishmael was a Hebrew. His father was a Hebrew. They don't tell y'all that. Okay? So the Ishmaelites, which were Egyptians, which were also Cushite. Now listen so you understand this. When I get my computer, I can show y'all the verse. The Ishmaelites were synonymous with the Midianites. You see, they were synonymous, but they were interchangeable. Okay, and I'll show you that in the Bible. They were interchangeable. In the Bible, they'll say Ishmaelite and then come down 2 verses and say Midianites, but they talking about the same people. You see, so the Midianites were Cushite and the Ishmaelites were Egyptians. So that show you right there that the Cushites and the Egyptians look just alike. Period. We just gonna deal with that. All right? Is we there? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So understand that. And so the Midianites were also the sons of Abraham, the Hebrew. So you had Egyptian Hebrews and you had Cushite Hebrews. Okay, let that be known. They don't tell y'all that. Just like they say Hebrew Israelites, there were also Hebrew Egyptians, and that they were Egyptian Cushites, because their bloodline went through Abraham, the Hebrew, just like the Israelites. All trace their bloodline back to Abraham. They don't tell y'all that. So the next time motherfuckers say, oh, you a Hebrew over them, you ain't got to say that, but ask them, did you know there was Hebrew Cushites? And that they were, and then you bring it up. And motherfucker cannot refute that. You see what I'm saying? And so we showing that that they had interaction with the Africans on the most intimate levels. You see what I'm saying? Now, showing you that Moses was saved twice by Africans. He was saved twice by Africans. All right? Now, let me talk, and we'll talk about this one too. We'll talk about this one. We got to, and then I'm gonna move on. We got to talk about the one they call Jesus Christ. You see? What are we doing here? We showing that Africa has been the foundation of every goddamn religion. You see, and where they go in here and try to show Egypt to be so evil, and that Africa is so evil. I heard a nigga, Hebrew nigga, Israelite nigga say why he cannot feed African people, even though African people fed. Wait a minute, let me read this shit. I want y'all to read this shit with me. Wait a minute, where that shit at? Let me get this. I want y'all. Right. Wait a minute. No, that ain't the one. That ain't the one. That ain't the one. Here it is right here. Here it is right here. I want to show y'all something that they not bringing up. Okay? And so we talking about comparing, and these niggas want to compare the African Holocaust to the Hebrews being in slavery in Egypt. Now this is when they supposedly was enslaved. Now they didn't. Now this is after they didn't left Egypt. Moses then carried them into the desert, and they out there eating shit. They out there eating manna. I don't know, some shit that fell out the sky. Some people say it's mushrooms. I don't know what the fuck it is. It ain't from this earth. You know, they might have been eating goddamn, I don't know what the fuck, the clouds and shit. You understand what them? These motherfuckers out there eating clouds and shit. But anyway, after they stayed out in the desert, they turned to, this is in Numbers 11. And it was starting at verse 4. It says, and the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting, and the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat? Now, when they talking about flesh, they ain't talking about animals. They ain't talking about who gonna give us another human. They say, God damn it, who gonna give us some meat? Who gonna give us some beef? You know, some porky pig, or because they ain't got no 10 commandments yet. So they eating pig, they eating cow, they eating bird, fowl, and everything else. And so shit, he done took them out in the desert, and he said, they say, who shall give us flesh to eat? And then you go down to verse 5. Now listen to what they say. This is Numbers 11, and it says, we remember, hear me out, we remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely. Did you hear me? We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely. The cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. I'm going to say that again. We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. Nigga, I'll take that now. Nigga, what the fuck is you? I'll take that right now. We wasn't in America eating no goddamn fish for free. We didn't have none of that. We didn't have none of that. We didn't have no goddamn cucumbers and melons. We was in this bitch eating goddamn guts and shit like that. And we wasn't eating no leeks and no damn onions and garlic. We was eating the scraps of the guts and shit. That's what we was eating. So how in the fuck is they comparing the Holocaust of Africans in America to what was going on in Egypt? Them motherfuckers was over there. Yeah, them motherfuckers over there eating good. They got the best land, and even during the time when they supposedly was in slavery, they was still eating good. The fuck is they talking about? They ain't never seen nothing like what happened to us over here in America. Lying motherfuckers. Sick of you motherfuckers. Sick of you. And it says, wait a minute. And we talking about when Herod, we're going to talk about this. When Herod sought the young child Jesus, so they say the Savior, and of all the countries, now they say they from Mesopotamia. I say, well, goddamn, why they didn't go to Mesopotamia? You see the land of Abraham and all of that. You say all the lands that they could tell the boy run to. It says, and talking about them 3 wise men, it's saying when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, get your ass up, Joseph, and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt. Why he ain't go to Mesopotamia? I mean, goddamn, y'all always talking about Mesopotamia, Chaldea. Why y'all didn't take y'all ass over to Mesopotamia and then Chaldea? Huh? Why do y'all motherfuckers keep ending up in Egypt as a land of refuge? Something ain't right with that. Something ain't right with what these niggas is saying. It says, and take the young child and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. And because you see, let me tell y'all something. When you watch, I was watching this one program. It was on what was the name of that? It was one of them cable companies. And they had this one series where motherfuckers would be always breaking out of prison. What's that series where them niggas be breaking out of prison all the time, and what they, where they run to when they get out of prison? Y'all be watching that shit. What's the name of that cable company that be showing that they be breaking out of prison all the time? Prison break. Yeah. Nah. When a motherfucker and when you in dire straits like that, the motherfucker seeking your life, you not just gonna run anywhere. If a motherfucker seeking your life, or or just like when you break out of prison, they know that most times than not, they're gonna try to touch somebody that they know can give them help. So more times than not, they're gonna try to go to mama house, daddy house, brother house, auntie, uncles, close family. That's why when they do break out, those are the first phones they tap. They're gonna put some cars out there all around their family house and wait out to see if they come there, because they know them niggas ain't got no money, they ain't got no food, and they need money, they need help. And so they're gonna go somewhere where they know that they can get some help, close friends. And so when they were seeking Jesus' life, you know why? They told him to go to Egypt, because he knew that he was gonna get some help when he get there. See what I'm saying? That the Africans was gonna hide him, that they was gonna feed him and show him you ain't just gonna run anywhere. You ain't gonna run to a motherfucker that you scratching your head. Do I think this nigga gonna turn me in? And no, you ain't gonna do that. More times you gonna go somewhere over a motherfucker house that you know that ain't gonna tell on you. You see what I'm saying? Give you a couple dollars and help you, give you a car or something to get so you can get the fuck on. And so that's why God told him. But we know this is allegory. In the reality, he fled there because he knew his family was there. You see what I'm saying? So they're not talking about, he didn't flee to Mesopotamia. He didn't have no blood relationship with them. That had been taken over by that time. It was originally Cushite, but it had been taken over. So he knew that the safest place for him to be was in Upper Egypt, Nubia, Cush. You see, who were really God-fearing people. You see, and so here again, I'm proving that the Africans say again, it wouldn't be no Christianity, because God could have easily just sent some lightning bolts down and struck Herod ass in the chest or something. He didn't do that. You understand what I'm saying? It was human intervention that saved the Christ child, Jesus, in the Bible. It was Africans, it was Egyptians, it was Cushites that saved him. And you know why? Because this story is Osiris, is Isis, and Horus. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. And we expect that's where he would run to, because up under this story, we know that Jesus was Horus. Okay, we know that. So family, I appreciate you. We not gone now. We not gone. I want y'all to stay with me now. If you're feeling these lessons, then look out, donate, support the general, and we're gonna continue. Ain't no motherfucker defeating me. I'm undefeatable. Okay, guarantee you that. And I say that in all goodness and kindness and righteousness. I say that. I'm undefeatable. Okay? I'm one of the motherfuckers that's gonna go to the tomb with the belt, nigga. Believe me, I'm going to the tomb with the belt. Believe me. This is General Cyrus Seti saying, thank you, family, for being here. Come right black. Arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education. If you know any Hebrew Israelite out there, I don't care if they look like show enough. I don't care if they got rhinestones in they do rags. I don't give a fuck if they got rhinestone do rags. I don't give a fuck if they got armor plated leather chest plates and shit, and I don't give a fuck what they got. Bring them on. I got something for their ass. This is General Cyrus Seti saying peace.